What's going on, guys? Greg again, and in this video I want to discuss the setup tab in Battery. This is where you can really start to edit how different cells interact with each other and how different groups of cells interact with each other. So we have the MIDI input section here, which has a velocity curve. If you adjust this, you're messing with the way that Battery reads your keyboard input and how it measures the velocity that you're hitting the keys at. I usually just leave this linear because that seems to be the most accurate reading of how hard you're hitting the keys. You have an all channel selector here. This is a drop down. If you have more than one MIDI controller, you can select what MIDI controllers control what cells. This is all done independently on each cell. So if you had like 3 MIDI controllers and you wanted one to affect this kick, then you could just select MIDI channel 3 and you'd be all set, or whatever MIDI channel that controller happens to be on. I have one MIDI controller, so I just put all channels because it doesn't really matter to me. The key track is actually going to affect the pitch of your sample based on the key range. So this one is from C1 to B1, and that's on this kick here. And if you'll listen, goes up in pitch. That's because of the key track key that is active here. Note latch I have on this ambience reactor 1, and what that does is if I activate this cell, I can deactivate it by pressing the key again. So cool, press it once, it turns it on, press it again, and it'll turn it off. Now the open hi-hats, this gets into voice groups. I did have a video on voice groups, but I only showed you one way to use them by putting two samples in the same voice group and then affecting how they interact with each other. In this video, I'm going to show you how to put two samples in different voice groups and use those voice groups to shut off the other voice group, if that makes sense. So this open hi-hat is in voice group 1. This closed hi-hat is in voice group 2. Now I want this closed hi-hat to shut off this open hi-hat when I play it, because these two would probably never play at the same time. Open hi-hats and closed hi-hats usually don't play at the same time. So what I did was, you can see this is where you select what voice group you want to put something in. You can rename it too by pressing this little pencil here. Okay, yep, nope, that's enough of that. I have both set to exclude group 1. And now if I go ahead and I press, what is this, C3? Now every time I press the closed hi-hat, it shuts off the open hi-hat, but there is a nice tail, so it kind of almost is like the open hi-hat leads into the closed hi-hat in a very nice way. The mode over here, this is a little hard to explain. If you had a voice group with, let's say, 3 voices that you allowed to play simultaneously, this is how you would kill any voice that was... okay, so you have 3 voices that you're allowing in this voice group to play simultaneously, and let's say you have 4 voices in total in the group. You hit the first 3, and then you hit the 4th. This is automatically set to oldest. It's going to kill the first voice. Kill any is going to kill a random voice. Kill the newest is going to go, let's say you play voice 1, then voice 2, then voice 3, and then voice 4. Voice 3 is going to get killed. That's kill newest. Kill highest is going to kill the voice with the highest pitch, and kill lowest is going to kill the voice with the lowest pitch. So, yeah, this is just how you want to execute notes. Well, execute them by silencing them. You have the cell activation tab, which is going to affect how a cell is triggered. So the trigger note on means when you press the key on the keyboard, it's going to trigger that note. Trigger note off is a little weird. If you press the key down, it's not going to play, but as soon as you let up on that key, it will play. So I usually keep this on trigger note on. So what do we got here? Here we go. This gets interesting. So the condition over here, you have a few different options. Always just means the note's always going to play, the cell's always going to activate no matter what. Start on key and start on controller. It's probably a simple concept, but to be honest, guys, I could not figure it out. So if you do know what those do, then please feel free to call me out and make me feel like an asshole, but show me how it's done before you do so. I got Cycle Round Robin pulled up here. And what this does is it activates cells in a consecutive order that you decide. So I have the kick here is in position 1. This is the reset cycle here, the cycle number. And position 1, which is where this kick is, the snare is in position 2, this hi-hat is in position 3. Now these are all going to be, over here if you see on the key range, on the same note, C4. And when I press C4, I'm only pressing C4 and it's playing those notes in a consecutive order. This could be kind of cool for making yourself like a drum loop or something within battery. And I'm sure there's a million other ways to use it, but you really have to experiment for yourself. Now, cycle random is the same thing as cycle round robin. If I said red robin, I'm going to be pissed. Cycle random is the same thing as round robin. It just selects random. It just selects a random order with whatever samples you have programmed into the cycle. So articulation, this selects a bunch of different options here. Alternate stroke, release stroke, flam, so on. You can experiment with all these. They're kind of cool. So this is going to add a flam to whatever it is I have it on. And I have another one here just to demonstrate what this does, set to speed roll, which is kind of cool. That you can just kind of set the articulation and go. This might be nice for programming fills with ease and not having to continually go into your piano roll and adjust each individual note. You can adjust the speed and the duration, so that's kind of cool. You have a MIDI echo, which kind of adds this interesting echo to your MIDI note. Okay. Yeah, that's really kind of annoying, actually. But the gravity is going to select, well, it's going to determine how fast or slow the echo is. All the way to the right, as I have here, is going to slow the echo down consecutively. All the way to the left is going to speed it up consecutively. The tune is going to select whether you want it to go up or down in pitch with each echo. This just selects your, well, it syncs it to any note you want to select and how you want the echo to act note-wise, I would say. The time is much like delay. It's going to adjust the timing of the echo, and the feedback is going to adjust how much of the echo you want. Humanize is kind of cool. It's going to add a little bit of a human element to your playing. You can adjust the amount, how human do you want it to sound. The sound is going to slightly throw off things like velocity and pitch, and the time is going to slightly adjust the quantization, just so it's not so four to the floor or perfectly quantized. And really, this is just so it sounds a little bit more natural, like a human was playing it. So, guys, that really sums up the setup tab. I'm sorry this video is longer than I normally make them, but I hope you learned a lot, and just really experiment with this tab and the modulation tab, with everything, because you can really make some cool sounds and really make some cool kits yourself. So before I take up any more of your time, guys, that's it. That's it for the video. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching, and as always, happy producing.